going to go on a little bit of a deep dive today. We'll be talking about our planet, our power, and our future, and thinking about what is your part to play in all of this. So who are Ocean Generation? If anyone has heard of us before, please give us a thumbs up. But I'll let you know. So we are an organization that are empowering an inclusive movement to tackle ocean threats through science and storytelling. So what does that all mean? That we're trying to be accessible to everyone, and we're really focusing on people such as yourself to make that change. We're doing that through behavior change, so really trying to change, and doing that through education, engagement, filmmaking, and all of that is backed by a lot of scientific credibility. So Joe, our founder, was the one that produced A Plastic Ocean, and started the conversation around that. But now we're talking about all of the ocean threats that affect our ocean's health. But we're doing that in a way to make hope and create change. We do that through running primarily 3 programs. I'll tell you about them briefly today because no matter what age you are, it's good to know about all of these. And I know I, for one, have definitely played with all of the programs that are outside of, I'm not in any of these groups, but I love them all. And I learned from all of them. So our first one over here for ages 3 to 7 is Earth Cubs. So you can have a look at that online. It's a play-based education platform where you can actually go into an ocean setting and be able to learn whilst you play. Then we also have Ocean Academy for ages 5 to 16, and this is our interactive core education hub. And then we also have for ages 16 to 25, which is what we're going to be doing a taster of today, which is our Wave Makers programs. This is where we accelerate social action and facilitate blue careers. So that's careers that affect and impact the planet. We're targeting young people because they make up 42% of the world's population. Probably most of you tuning in today are under the age of 25, and you are pretty much the majority of this planet. And your lives will be most impacted by today's ocean's threats. So by positively engaging you, we're aiming to foster a sense of agency and leading to tangible behavioral changes and a desire for collective action. And what is a wave maker? So I'm sure you're wondering. A wave maker is an individual committed to creating, coordinating, or contributing to positive change, however big or small. And that really is key. No matter what kind of action you're contributing to our ocean's health, you are a wave maker. So you are starting your journey today. Well done. Congratulations. Before we dive in, when we're talking about our ocean, what are we talking about? This short video, and you might recognize a face in here, will tell you more.
The importance of the oceans. They provide us with more than half the oxygen we need. Every second breath you take comes from the oceans. They absorb much of the carbon dioxide we produce. They are an important source of protein for billions of people on the planet. Every drop of water, indeed everything we drink, has come from the oceans. The ocean is our life support system. If that system becomes dysfunctional, then all living things on this planet will suffer.
When you see Earth from space, you can see why it's called the blue planet. 71% of its surface is covered by the ocean, and the ocean is vital for all living things. Take 2 deep breaths. The oxygen that you took in one of those breaths came from the ocean. Did you know that there is no new water made on Earth? The same amount cycles around constantly. The ocean once more is. Most animals need water to survive. Without the fresh water the ocean provides, life on land would not be able to exist. That includes humans. Our bodies are 60% water. Water that came from the ocean. Water is life. The well-being of the ocean is vital for life on Earth. Without a healthy marine environment, we won't have a healthy planet, and that will affect us all. Keeping our ocean healthy is an important challenge for our generation. We all need to get involved. For ourselves, our friends, and family, and every living thing that we share our planet with.
Wonderful. So there's a lot of you joining in today, and of course, it would be wonderful to hear your voice in this session. So remember, you can always use the chat function on Zoom if you're having trouble on accessing any of the tools that we'll be using today. But one of the tools we'll be using is Slido. So you can use this QR code. So if anyone doesn't know how to use a QR code, you can use your phone's camera to direct the camera towards the QR code, and it will open up a link for you. Or you can also join at slido.com with the hashtag Ocean Generation. There'll also be a link being pasted in the chat by Eric from Joti-jota from Scouts and in the chat right now. So you can also follow that link. So lots of ways to get involved. But now I'd love to hear your voice, and I would love for you to share, what word does our ocean make you think of? So hopefully you should be in here now. And I can see that some people are getting involved already, which is wonderful. I definitely think of the word blue when I'm thinking of the ocean, and life, my goodness. Not only does it sustain our life, but it's got so much life in there. Adventure, fishes, vastness. Yes, there's a lot of words around how big it is. How beautiful and mysterious, wonderful. I love these words because they are so varied, and it shows how huge the ocean really is and what an incredible life source it is. Both interesting and curiosity, it sparks our curiosity, but it is also absolutely humbling in its mystery and how big it is. Wonderful, thank you. I'll leave it open, so do feel free to keep submitting. So yeah, we'll continue to using it, and also do drop into the Zoom chat where you're dialing in from. I'd love to hear more about kind of the countries that we've got represented between us today. And remember, the chat function is yours to use too. Okay, so the first thing we're talking about when we talk about our ocean is how much, I know a lot of those words coming up was about life and nature and fishes. And our ocean really supports all of life on Earth. It is home to thousands of plants and organisms, and the ocean's biodiversity is astonishing. Scientists estimate that 91% of ocean species are still to be discovered. And we need to understand how important the ocean is to our daily life. Joining in on the call that far away, and I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be able to hear me, so that's pretty incredible. And can you recognize this little fella? It's a horseshoe crab. And horseshoe crabs are not actually crabs. They're from the family of scorpions and spiders, unlike actual crabs. If you check their abdominal area, you can see the striking and scary resemblance it has to a tarantula's one. But what's most fascinating about this 10-eyed creature is the fact that it is a true medical hero. Their uncommon blue blood has immune cells known as limulus polyphemus, which are sensitive to toxic bacteria and can be used to test vaccines and drugs for dangerous bacteria to testing COVID vaccines currently on the market. So very tall and obviously plays a huge role in care. Next, we say, and we talk about here at Ocean Generation, we say ocean, not plural oceans. We all must understand that what happens in one part of the ocean will affect the other parts too. So you just saw in the video that I shared now that all of our water is connected. All of the water that exists is in a closed loop. So it doesn't matter if you don't even live near the ocean in the middle of a big city, but I've got streams and rivers and estuaries, and all of these water sources that we have are connected, and everything affects the ocean. We all know about the world's 5 oceans that we've learned about in Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, Arctic, and Antarctic. However, thinking about them as 5 separate oceans is not helpful. So we prefer here to refer to our ocean as one. And we are all part of this giant, single, and interconnected ocean. So we're going to think about our impact on the ocean. There are 5 broad ways that human action threatens the ocean. And these are climate change, pollution, coastal infrastructure development, resource extraction, and daily ocean use. We're going to be zooming in on 2 of them, the first 2. So the first one is climate change. And this can be a bit of an overwhelming one to talk about, but if you don't know, if you haven't been familiar with what climate change is, it's primarily around the greenhouse gas carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide absorbs some of this heat from the sun's rays, but it redirects heat in all directions. Some of this heat gets trapped in the atmosphere and it never escapes. And in this way, the Earth gets hotter. Due to the high amount of carbon emissions caused by the burning of fossil fuels, the ocean has consequently been absorbing higher amounts of carbon dioxide too. More than 90% of the heat from global warming is stored in the ocean. And as the ocean gets warmer, the ice caps melt, and that causes sea levels to rise. By 2100, they might be a meter higher than they are now. And I'm sure this is something that some of you on this call are experiencing in your countries at this time as well, and in your communities. A warmer ocean also means less oxygen. And at the same time, warmer water means that living organisms need more oxygen to survive. Have you heard of coral bleaching? This is when the coral dies. 31% of reefs were affected by it in 2016, compared to only 8% in the 1980s. That is a huge jump. Ocean acidification is another big threat. So higher levels of carbon dioxide in the ocean can form carbonic acid. If ocean waters are too acidic, some marine organisms like corals and oysters will struggle to form calcium carbonate shells and skeletons. And it also makes it harder for fish to breathe. The next one we're going to zoom in on is pollution. One of the biggest forms of pollution, and probably the most widely known, is plastic pollution. Every year, over 8 million tons of plastic enter the ocean. And guess who's responsible for that? Unfortunately, it's us again, us humans. And I just wanted to highlight a few facts from this slide. The first one is that 80% of plastic in the ocean comes from the land. That means that the plastic that is ending up in the ocean has passed through our human hands and has ended up because of improper waste management system, or the fact that it probably shouldn't exist in the first place. And then this one really grosses me out, which is that we ingest 4 times 2 blocks worth of Lego plastic every month. Ugh, I don't know about you, but I definitely don't want to be eating Lego. But unfortunately, what's going into our bodies every month. Then the last one is that there are 1,000 rivers that account for 80% of global river plastic pollution into the ocean. Again, that's going back to what we were talking about both in the video and earlier today, is that all of our water systems are connected. So you do not need to be living near an ocean to be experiencing and being connected to that. The next one is coastal infrastructure development. So the next 3 I'll just go through in kind of top line. So these are buildings near the coastline. 2.5 billion people live within 100 kilometers of the coast in densely populated areas. And again, I'm sure most of you, quite a lot of you kind of dialing in today, are living inside in these kind of spaces and communities. And as these cities develop close to waterways, the activity from humans like sewage, polluted runoff water, etc., can damage marine life and ecosystems. The next one is resource extraction. So more and more people rely on fish and other seafood as their primary source of protein. Today, it's approximately 3 billion people. This demand has led to a boom in commercial fishing, and over a third of the world's fish are exploited. We need to allow fish stocks time to regenerate and grow. Daily ocean use. So our ocean is always being used, from cargo being shipped to passenger traffic for travel. Our ocean noise from human activities like shipping, blasting, and drilling can be deafening to sea creatures, stopping them from communicating with potential mates, like our lovely whale earlier, their offspring, or feeding partners. So let's talk about our future, because it's not doom and gloom. We're not about that at all at Ocean Generation. We know that everyone can play a part in creating this solution. And we've witnessed firsthand how the ocean can heal itself during the pandemic. That's all we need, is everyone doing something towards supporting the ocean. So this is about our future. And our fascination with the ocean needs to turn into a crusade. Ocean Generation support zones, the UN's 30 by 30 mission to protect 30% of our ocean by 2030. And we are one of the UN Decade of the Ocean partners as well. So what is the power of you? Going back to the fact that most of you on this call today are going to be making up that nearly majority statistic that I was talking about. You make up nearly 42% of the world's population if you're under 25. And you have so much power in your hand. So this is one of my favorite graphics, because it shows, and this is all backed by science, and this is about your circle of influence. So very, very close to your actions and what you do as an individual. These are your habits, your behavior, your decisions. If you start changing these will then start amplifying into your next circle of influence, which is around your community. What do we talk about when we talk about our community? We're talking about your friends, where you work, where you volunteer, where you go to school. These are your communities, and this is where your changes can be amplified. Next, we have our political power and sphere of influence. This is around where you vote, where you spend your money,